The footballing world witnessed an unforgettable spectacle of drama, tactical warfare, momentum swings, controversy, and sheer emotion as Uruguay and Cape Verde battled to a thrilling 2-2 draw in their FIFA World Cup 2026 Group H showdown at Miami's Hard Rock Stadium. What was expected by many to be a routine victory for one of South America's footballing giants quickly transformed into one of the most captivating matches of the tournament. It became a story of resilience, courage, mistakes, heroics, and a relentless underdog refusing to bow before one of football's traditional powerhouses. As the teams emerged from the tunnel and stepped onto the pristine surface under the bright lights of Miami, the contrast between the two nations could not have been more dramatic. On one side stood Uruguay, the proud two-time World Cup champions, managed by the intensely demanding tactical mastermind, Marcelo Bielsa. A nation rich in football history and packed with elite talent, Uruguay arrived under pressure to secure a crucial victory and reinforce their status as contenders. On the opposite side stood Cape Verde, affectionately known as the Blue Sharks. Making their historic World Cup debut, the small island nation of just over 500,000 people carried with them the dreams of an entire country. Having already shocked many observers with their disciplined performances earlier in the tournament, Cape Verde entered the match fearless, determined, and carrying the spirit of Morabeza that defines their footballing identity. From the very first whistle, the tactical battle immediately became apparent. Uruguay imposed themselves on possession, operating in Bielsa's trademark high-intensity 4-3-3 formation. The South Americans moved the ball rapidly across the pitch, using quick combinations, aggressive pressing, and fluid positional rotations to pin Cape Verde deep inside their own half. The pressure was relentless. Federico Valverde orchestrated proceedings from midfield with remarkable authority. The Real Madrid star sprayed passes across the field, switched play effortlessly, and repeatedly tested the structural integrity of Cape Verde's defensive block. Within the opening stages, Valverde nearly produced the breakthrough himself. Bursting through midfield on a trademark surging run, he drove toward goal before unleashing a fierce effort that flashed narrowly wide of the far post. Cape Verde's veteran goalkeeper, Vozinha, already earning admiration throughout the tournament for his courageous performances, was immediately called into action. Organizing his defense and barking instructions continuously, he stood firm against wave after wave of Uruguayan attacks. Despite being forced deep into their own territory, the Blue Sharks remained remarkably composed. They absorbed pressure patiently. They refused to panic. They stayed compact. And then, completely against the run of play, they delivered a moment that stunned the entire stadium. In the 21st minute, Cape Verde launched one of their rare attacks. Telmo Arcanjo collected possession in midfield and surged forward with determination. Weaving past challenges and driving directly at the Uruguayan defense, he forced panic among Bielsa's men. Rodrigo Bentancur desperately attempted to halt the advancing attacker, but mistimed his challenge, clipping Arcanjo just outside the penalty area. The referee wasted no time. Yellow card, dangerous free kick. Cape Verde suddenly had a golden opportunity. The tension around Hard Rock Stadium became palpable as Kevin Pina carefully placed the ball approximately 26 yards from goal. Uruguay assembled their defensive wall. Most expected a traditional curling effort over the top. Pina had other ideas. Spotting a weakness in the positioning of the wall, he struck a low, powerful drive that thundered toward goal. At the critical moment, two Uruguayan players inside the wall inexplicably separated, creating a narrow gap. The ball flew directly through the opening. A slight deflection further wrong-footed goalkeeper Fernando Muslera. Frozen in place, Muslera could only watch as the ball nestled into the corner of the net. Cape Verde had done it. Their first ever goal at a FIFA World Cup. The stadium erupted. Players sprinted toward the corner flag. Substitutes flooded onto the touchline. The entire Cape Verde squad collapsed into a joyous celebration, creating one of the tournament's most emotional scenes. Against all expectations, the underdogs led 1-0. Uruguay's response was immediate. Stung by the embarrassment of trailing the tournament debutants, Bielsa's side launched an all-out assault. The possession numbers climbed even higher. Crosses rained into the penalty area. Long-range efforts flew toward goal. Sebastian Cáceres nearly equalized with a ferocious strike from nearly 30 yards that narrowly missed the target. Uruguay's attacks became increasingly desperate as the clock approached halftime. Cape Verde continued to defend heroically. Every clearance was cheered, every block was celebrated, every save felt monumental. Yet eventually the pressure became overwhelming. In the 44th minute, Uruguay finally found their breakthrough. Following a Cape Verde counterattack that ended with a speculative effort from distance, Muslera gathered the ball and immediately launched a lightning-fast counterattack. The transition was breathtaking. Within seconds, Uruguay had moved the ball from one end of the pitch to the other. A dangerous move down the left flank resulted in a driven cross into the 6-yard box. Chaos followed. 3 players converged simultaneously. Bodies collided. The ball ricocheted wildly. It struck the post and bounced back into play. Vozinha desperately scrambled across his line, attempting to prevent disaster. But the rebound fell perfectly into the path of Maximiliano Araújo. Reacting faster than anyone else, Araújo arrived at precisely the right moment and calmly tapped the ball into the open net. A lengthy VAR review followed. Uruguayan supporters anxiously waited. Cape Verde held their breath. Eventually, confirmation arrived. Goal, 1-1. The South Americans had restored parity. However, the drama was only beginning. Moments later, an administrative controversy erupted on the sidelines. Telmo Arcanjo went down suffering severe muscle cramps and required treatment. Under tournament regulations designed to reduce time wasting, fourth official Tori Penso instructed him to leave the field at the nearest boundary line. Because of the circumstances surrounding his departure, Cape Verde found themselves temporarily unable to execute their planned substitution immediately. For a brief but critical period, they were forced to continue with only 10 men. Uruguay instantly recognized the opportunity. Bielsa's players sensed weakness. They pushed forward relentlessly. Then, deep into first-half stoppage time, they struck. In the 45+6th minute, Manuel Ugarte recovered a loose clearance in midfield. Spotting movement ahead, he delicately chipped a perfectly weighted ball toward the penalty area. Araújo rose highest and nodded the ball across goal. Agustín Canobbio timed his run brilliantly. Remaining narrowly onside behind defender Pico Lopez, he controlled the pass with composure and calmly slotted beyond Vozinha. Cape Verde immediately appealed. The assistant's flag remained down. VAR conducted a lengthy review. The tension inside the stadium became unbearable. Finally, the verdict arrived. Goal confirmed. Uruguay had completed the turnaround. From trailing 1-0, they now led 2-1 heading into halftime. As the players walked toward the dressing rooms, the emotional momentum appeared firmly with the South Americans. The second half began exactly as many expected. Uruguay dominated possession. The ball circulated endlessly. Cape Verde struggled to escape their own half. Bielsa's men appeared fully in control. The rhythm of the match seemed increasingly comfortable for Uruguay. Yet football has a unique ability to produce chaos when least expected. And in the 61st minute, chaos arrived. Under pressure from Cape Verde's energetic attackers, Uruguayan defender Matias Oliveira attempted a routine back pass. It was anything but routine. The pass was horribly misplaced. The mistake immediately created panic. But the situation became even worse because Muslera was positioned far outside his penalty area, acting as a sweeper keeper in accordance with Bielsa's aggressive tactical philosophy. The veteran goalkeeper suddenly found himself stranded in no man's land. Cape Verde substitute Hélio Varela reacted instantly. Having only recently entered the match, Varela anticipated the danger before anyone else. He sprinted onto the loose ball. His first touch was immaculate. He glided around the helpless Muslera with elegance and composure. With the goal completely unguarded, he calmly rolled the ball into the empty net. The stadium exploded. Cape Verde's players raced toward their supporters. The bench emptied. The underdogs had struck again. 2-2. Against all odds, they were level. The equalizer transformed the match completely. Structure disappeared. Organization vanished. The final half hour became a breathtaking end-to-end battle. In the 68th minute, Uruguay believed they had reclaimed the lead. A dangerous corner kick created chaos inside the penalty area. Following multiple deflections and a desperate goalmouth scramble, the ball eventually crossed the line. Uruguayan players celebrated wildly. Cape Verde feared the worst. Then VAR intervened. Replays revealed that an earlier phase of the corner routine involved a player positioned offside. After several tense minutes, the referee overturned the goal. No goal. The score remained 2-2. Cape Verde survived. Determined to find a winner, Bielsa introduced additional firepower. Darwin Núñez entered the match. Nicolás de la Cruz followed. The substitutions immediately increased Uruguay's attacking threat. Núñez terrorized defenders with his pace and movement. Every touch heightened the tension. Then, in the 92nd minute, he nearly produced the decisive moment. Breaking beyond his marker, Núñez raced toward the byline and delivered a vicious low cross across the 6-yard box. Federico Valverde arrived at the far post. The goal seemed inevitable, but agonizingly, the ball evaded his outstretched boot by mere inches. The chance was gone. As stoppage time unfolded, the drama somehow intensified even further. In the 93rd minute, Cape Verde committed numbers forward, searching for a historic victory. Their attack eventually broke down, leaving them vulnerable to a devastating counterattack. Canobbio raced into open space. Only the goalkeeper remained ahead. The opportunity was enormous. Yet Pico Lopes produced a recovery run of extraordinary determination. Sprinting the length of the pitch, he applied just enough pressure to disrupt the forward's concentration. Canobbio's shot drifted wide. Another massive escape for Cape Verde. Then came the final controversy, the moment that would dominate post-match discussions. In the 95th minute, Cape Verde launched one last attack. Hélio Varela threaded a magnificent pass into the path of Rocha da Costa. The attacker drove into the penalty area. He beat his marker. The crowd rose to its feet. Just as he prepared to shoot, a recovering Uruguayan defender crashed into him from behind. Da Costa tumbled to the turf. Instantly, Cape Verde's players exploded in protest. The bench erupted. Supporters demanded a penalty. The referee waved play on. VAR quietly reviewed the incident. To the astonishment of many, no intervention arrived. Play continued. The penalty was not awarded. Moments later, the referee brought the match to an end. Players from both teams collapsed onto the grass in exhaustion. Uruguay walked away frustrated, knowing defensive mistakes and missed opportunities had cost them a valuable victory. Cape Verde, meanwhile, celebrated another remarkable result on the biggest stage in world football. Their historic 2-2 draw demonstrated once again that their resilience, discipline, and fighting spirit were no accident. For Uruguay, it was a night of defensive calamities, controversial moments, and questions left unanswered. For Cape Verde, it was another chapter in a fairy tale World Cup journey that continued to capture the imagination of football fans around the globe. And for everyone fortunate enough to witness it, this unforgettable battle at Hard Rock Stadium served as a powerful reminder of why the FIFA World Cup remains the greatest sporting spectacle on earth.